Okay, welcome. We're going to go ahead and show you a few of the tricks and a few of the basic tools in CorelDraw X3. I know there are more advanced versions of the program out there on the market, but this one's still available for sale, and it's relatively cost-effective, especially if you're just beginning. We've got three shapes. We've got a little square, a squiggly line, and a circle. And to show you just how to draw those, over here in our menu bar, in our drawing tools, we've got the ellipse tool. And the ellipse tool is for drawing circles and ovals. It's a free-form tool, and any place that you would stop it would be the shape that you get. I'm going to delete that. We've still got our ellipse tool checked. If you start to draw the ellipse and you press down the control key, it constrains it, and you get a perfect circle every time. Let go of that, and you've got a circle. The square is kind of the same thing. There's a rectangle tool. Again, free form. Until you hold down the control key, and you get a perfect square. You've already got those on the screen, so we don't need them. Up here at the top is the pick tool, and that's what you use to select items on the screen. Move them around. And also change the shapes, which we'll do a little bit more of later. But you can stretch one way or the other, and if you constrain it with the control tool, you can snap to increments, which is helpful sometimes. Okay, we're going to take the circle, and we're going to start out by changing the color of the outline. Over here in the color palette menu, we're going to hover over the red, and using the right mouse button, we're going to click and change this to a red outline. The right mouse button does your outlines, the left mouse button does your fill, and if we go over here to the orange, or to the bright orange, and click with our left mouse button, we change the fill. If you look up here, it's going to give you an approximate of what your point size is on your line. We're going to go ahead and make that 2. And we're going to go into the outline tool dialog. Click on that and make sure that scale with image is checked. That's about all we need to do to that. Now for the color, we want to add a gradient. So we got a little bit more of a variation of color in there. To do that, we're going to click on the interactive fill tool. It's kind of a neat little tool. If we drag from one side of the circle to the other, you'll see it changes it to a gradient fill. This little box, double box around this square, means that's the one that now is active. So if I go up here and click on red, we've got a pretty neat little gradient there of red to orange. Now if I come over here to this deeper shade of orange and I press my left mouse button down and hold it, it's going to give me a whole dialog of other oranges I can choose from. If I press it and drag it, I can drop this anywhere along this line that I'm pointing to and add some more of that color into the mix. Stretch it up or down. I'm going to determine how I want it. I like it there, I like it a little bit less than perpendicular, or okay. And that's pretty much all the coloring we need to do to this. And here's where the fun part comes in. We're going to make a pumpkin, and if you watch, if you hover your cursor over the middle node of this box and move it, you can change the size of the circle, of course. Now here's a cool little trick. If you do that again, press down and move in just a little bit, and now this time you push your right mouse button. It leaves you a copy and leaves the original one in place. If I do that again in a few little increments, I can get different layers together. We do 1, 2, 3 spaces now on this. On the fourth time I do this, I'm going to go way past. Just make myself a narrow little oval about like that. and leaving it selected and using the arrow keys on the keyboard, I'm going to hold it down until that comes about center of the previous oval. It's starting to look a lot more pumpkin-like right now. So now what we're going to do is finish the rest of the pumpkin. These two will stay. I'm going to come back here to circle number 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to click number 3, press my shift key, click number 2, hold it, and click number 3. Click number 1. Now, hovering my cursor over this node and holding down the control key, I'm going to drag it as far as I can this way till I see the outlines come the other way, and I'm going to press my right mouse button to create a copy. Now, if we push the shift key and the page down key, you can't see it because they're right next to each other, but that just moved all three of these below these layers. We hold our arrow key again, and just watch it dance across the screen. Now we got a pretty good copy of our pumpkin. Using the pick tool, if you select them all, and just kind of shrink them in a little bit, get a little closer to that pumpkin shape. Now, select them all once again, press the control key and the letter G to create a group, and then press the letter P, and that places the pumpkin right in the center of the page. I'm going to click on this squiggly line and move it out of the way for right now. Bring the box over on top of the pumpkin, and I'm going to just kind of shrink it down a little bit. And all these are mouse commands. We haven't really touched any menu items right now. It does about the size I think I would want for a stem. The box is currently an object. What we're going to do is right click on top of the box, and the first item we're going to see is convert to curves. We're going to do that. Once we convert it to curves, right below the pick tool, you'll find the shape tool. We're going to select that and highlight all 4 of the nodes, the control nodes, just by drawing a big box around them. Now we've done that, we're going to change them to curves and deselect them. Now by selecting one node on the top, you can dance that over a little bit, make it look a little more like a pumpkin stem. Select the other node, dance that over too. And in this instance, I'm just going to kind of sway it in that way by using one of these control handles. The only other change I want to make here is to arch the bottom up a little bit. I now have a pretty reasonable facsimile of a pumpkin stem. Here's the cool thing. Let's do this again. We're going to grab the interactive fill tool. Drag it horizontally across the pumpkin stem. With the white still highlighted, we're going to make that a dark shade of green. We're going to click on the black and make that a lighter shade of green. Makes it look a little more realistic. Go up to our pick tool, leave it selected. Go ahead, back to the dark shade of green. Use my right mouse button, put an outline on it, and come up here and make that 2 points. So there we've got the stem. And a lot like the pumpkin, we can take this stem, shrink that just a little bit, use our right mouse button, create a copy, bring that back over, and then we've got kind of a textured pumpkin stem. Move that down onto the main pumpkin. And this is one copy of it is behind the pumpkin, one is below. I'm going to select both by drawing a box around both of them. And I'm going to do shift and page up. And both pieces of the little pumpkin stem are on top of the pumpkin. And that's how you draw a pumpkin with a square and a circle. We've still got the squiggly little line, and I'm going to show you how to make some really cool vines and flowers and leaves out of that in the next video. Thanks for being with us. Hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to doing this again.